The impact that Mark Lyons has on these games, has on the games, has on the U of A games this season is pretty major. He's like in 3 games he has made some clutch points at the end, so we were able to win by 1 or 3 points or 2 points. Very, very close games in overtime. Florida and San Diego State and Oregon, not Oregon, but who else did we play that was a close game? Colorado. So he's made some clutch shots in the end that were very, very important. But um, I, I have known Solomon Hill for a longer time. I've known him not personally, but I've known him on the court for a longer time, and I feel I'm a little bit more biased towards Solomon Hill. And today, whenever the Arizona Wildcats, Arizona State U of A, the U of A Wildcats played the Arizona State Sun Devils, ASU Sun Devils. The U of A Wildcats won 71 to the Arizona State Sun Devils 54. But Solomon Hill, the reason why I got off on Solomon Hill there for a minute was because he made such an impact. He was really, really comfortable out there on the court, as opposed to Carrick Felix. Carrick Felix ended up with only making 1 out of 8 from field goal percentage, and actually one of those 1 out of 7 of those field goal percentages was from the 3-point land. So he was off his mark today. Um, but Solomon Hill, only had uh, he was 6 for 11, which and he only ended up with 13 points. But what he does is he is a silent but deadly contributor to this team. He does everything on the court, and some important things that he did was he had 5 assists, and he only had 1 turnover. Um, the assist to turnover ratio is really hard for Mark Lyons right now because he is the point guard. He has to handle the ball a lot more than Solomon Hill, I think, and you know he's kind of thrown into the situation. He's a fifth-year senior, but still, he's kind of thrown into the U of A. He's kind of, this is his first year as a Wildcat, but this is his last year as a Wildcat too. But he's really contributing nicely. But he ended up with 4 turnovers and 3 assists. So but that was okay because we ended up with 9 total turnovers as compared to the ASU Sun Devils, which had 17 total turnovers, and that was a big killer for ASU was 17 turnovers. Um, Another thing that was a big killer for ASU for the ASU Sun Devils was they could not get their 3 pointers to fall, and the only time that they did fall a couple times was in the end, was close to the end of the game, and it was just a little bit too late, too much too late to make any contribution and make it so that ASU could get back in this game. Um, the U of A, what they did was they kept kept taking it to the boards. They kept their guards, point guard Mark Lyons, Nick Johnson, Solomon Hill, Brendan Ashley, and Parham, Major Parham, Grant Jarrett, Jordan Mason. Those guys, the guards, were able to dribble penetrate. They were able to get inside of that key. They were able to they were able to put 2 out of 3 uh, for Nick Johnson. So Nick Johnson was doing pretty good from 3-point land. Um, let's see. Kevin Parham had a kind of a hard time today. Uh, he uh, he usually gets three offensive. He usually gets three offensive. He, he usually gets 3 offensive rebounds or something around there, and he didn't get any offensive rebounds whatsoever. He was also having a hard time from 3-point land. He didn't make any of his 3 pointers, but he only tried one time from 3-point land, so that was okay. Um, so he's I think this has been I think against Oregon State he had kind of a down game, or was it Oregon? I'm not sure, but those are 2 games that he didn't play exceptionally well in as far as offensive rebounds or 3-point shooting. But he did pick up a lot of a couple shots there inside the key that were important, a couple garbage shots, or a couple shots that were inside the paint that were pretty nice. He made 2 out of 4 from field goal percentage. Um, and the one that had the biggest contributor, well, of course, was Mark Lyons. He had 24 points. Um, let's see. Most of those points were 2 pointers, so that was not bad at all. Caleb Tarczewski, I was kind of interested to see how the freshman Caleb Tarczewski was, the 7-foot freshman, was going to handle post play and defend against the Jordan Bar- Bakinski. Um, I think he's 7'2". I think Jordan Bakinski is 7'2" from ASU, and he ended up with 6 rebounds. And Caleb Tarczewski ended up with 8 rebounds. One thing that I saw that was really cool that Caleb Tarczewski did was he was inside the key and he grabbed the ball and dunked. He rebounded and dunked. I think he rebounded and dunked it over two ASU players. The game was over at ASU over in Tempe. So we had less of a home court advantage there, and a lot of people were, we had a lot of people were. The U of A was not looked highly upon over at the ASU, um, over in Tempe, but we did pretty good. We handled it pretty good, and Mark Lyons, from what I heard, is he thrives in hostile territory. He does really really well in hostile territory, and you notice that by the last the game against Florida, the game against San Diego State, and the game against Colorado. He under those pressure situations, he made some really key shots that were very very important. But like I said, uh, I cannot stress the importance of Solomon Hill's contribution. He didn't get a whole lot of points. He only ended up with 13 points, but just his contribution all over the court, steals, assists, rebounds, um, all those things are pretty important. He didn't shoot any free throw. He didn't get any free throw attempts. But still, the one that dribble penetrated uh, and got those free throw attempts was Mark Lyons, and he was 6 for 6 from 3-point land from free throws. He was 6 for 6 from free throws, so he was doing really really good. Um, Nick Johnson made 3 out of 4 from free throw land. So I think that ASU was not ready for us this time. They were gung ho, they were ready in the beginning, but since their three-pointers were not falling, and then their one of their major players, Jahi Carson, got in foul trouble. He picked up his third foul in the first half. Then it kind of went downhill from there for the ASU Sun Devils, and they could not get back in the groove of things, and that's why they ended up losing this game by such a large amount, 71-54. It was quite. I mean, it was less than 10. It was at less than a 10-point difference for quite a while for most of the game, but then right at the end, then the U of A just kind of took over, and it got ugly, and the U of A ended up winning this game by 17 points. But in a few weeks, where the U of A Wildcats are going to be playing the ASU Sun Devils here in Tucson, Arizona, and I'll be interested to see what happens. See how the ASU Sun Devils can bounce back on Thursday whenever they play. I don't know who they're playing. I think they're playing USC, and then we're playing UCLA on Thursday. The U of A is playing UCLA on Thursday, but still, uh, we contain them we contain the Arizona State Sun Devils to 39% from field goal percentage. So that's positive, and we contain them with 25% from three-point land, which is another positive. And something that I've been noticing a little bit more, is the free throw attempts. We had 19. The U of A Wildcats had 19 free throw attempts, and the ASU Sun Devils only had 15 free throw attempts. One thing that just killed ASU was the 17 turnovers, as compared to the U of A Wildcats only had 9 turnovers. So it was just a combination of those two things. The turnovers killed ASU Sun Devils, and the three-pointers just did not fall for the ASU Sun Devils. And those were very important things. And for some reason, they just couldn't get in the key. They couldn't dribble penetrate, because for some reason our guys are very, very strong. We're very, very strong, and stole the ball. We ended up with 8 steals. The University of Arizona ended up with 8 steals, and they only had 5 steals. So go figure. The Arizona Wildcats, U of A Wildcats, win in Tempe. In hostile territory, and the ASU Sun Devils lose in Tempe whenever they feel the comfort of their own home, um, and they have a pretty good record. They had a pretty good record coming into this game. I think they were 14-2 or something like that, 13-2. But anyway, the U of A wins this game, and I just want to say that our three freshmen showed up big, and made big contributions. They didn't necessarily show up strong on the in the stats, but the most important was that they didn't back down, they didn't give up, and they fought hard. Um, Grant Jarrett had 3 fouls, so he must have fought hard, and Tarczewski had 4 fouls, so he fought hard. And Brendan Ashley had 3 fouls, so he fought hard too. Um, in fact, those were the only players, only U of A players that had 3 or more fouls against them were the freshmen. Go figure also. So anyway, the U of A wins it 71 to the Arizona Sun Devils 54.